Welcome to Introduction to Module 5 in Week 5 of Economics 101, Principles of Microeconomics for Thomas More College. In this video, we'll talk about the big ideas of this module, including the learning outcomes for the week, and what graded work to expect for this module. This week, we'll take a deeper dive into how competitive structures impact market outcomes. Last week, we explored the archetypal firm, the perfectly competitive firm. This week, we'll start out by comparing that to the opposite extreme of competition, a monopoly. We'll then compare the outcomes of a perfectly competitive firm and a monopoly firm in terms of the price that we would expect to see in the market, the quantity that's produced, the profit in the long run, and any efficiency implications. We'll then turn our attention to more realistic examples of market structure. Monopoly and perfect competition are both opposite ends of an extreme, and they're also both pretty rare. Instead, we turn our attention to monopolistic competition and oligopoly. In a monopolistically competitive firm, we're going to use the same sort of analysis that we did for monopoly and perfect competition. That is, we're going to use our graphical tool of analysis. However, oligopoly markets are a little bit different. It is possible to graph oligopolies. However, if you have anything more than two firms, the oligopoly graph gets a little bit tricky to do and is sometimes beyond the scope of an introductory microeconomics course. Instead, we're going to use something called game theory to help us figure out what might happen when two firms interact or more firms interact, and those interactions are strategic. The big ideas of this week are big idea number 6. The competitive structure of an industry has implication for welfare, efficiency, and profit. By the end of this week, you should be able to compare and contrast the outcomes of price, quantity, efficiency, and scale for the 4 types of competition. You should also be able to use game theory to predict outcomes with strategic interaction. While game theory can be extended to many players, we're going to restrict our analysis to just a simple 2-player game. For this week's graded work, you have your review and reflect on last week's quiz. You have Module 5.1's content engagement and an APLIA assignment. You have Module 5.2's content engagement and an APLIA assignment that examines market power and the case of the EpiPen. In Module 5.3, you have a discussion question on market concentration and health insurance. You also have an APLIA assignment on oligopoly and a news analysis visiting a tale of 2 market structures. Again, we end the week out with a summative assessment quiz.